First of all, you said that you used to work for Enron. What'd you do there?
I was at Enron for 16 years, and my final position, which I was at for about 7 years, was Director of Public Policy Analysis. I wrote speeches for Ken Lay. I was really Enron's lone libertarian. And on the other side, Enron had a number of employees who were Democrats, in with the environmental left. And so Ken Lay, a real political entrepreneur, working on a lot of regulatory issues, unfortunately most to expand government rather than contract it. He needed expertise on each side, and I filled that role for them.
Did you see the collapse coming?
I saw the problems, but I was one of the later ones to see the problems, and a lot of the people that had been there for many, many years, who had a lot of stock in the company, were under the impression that, Enron was going to have failures, but we were such a progressive first mover company that we would have more hits than misses. Sort of the Babe Ruth, you lead in homers, you lead in strikeouts. So the newer people that had come from other companies, they were picking up on things a lot better. And I had a person working for me that had just joined the company a few years before, and he's telling me things, and I'm saying, oh, he's just a pessimist. And if you own enough Enron stock, you're going, we need to be team players. We need to be optimistic. Mm-hmm. So we were conflicted somewhat too.
You've got some pretty strident opinions, certainly out of the green mainstream. So do a lot of people of your critics discount what you say? They say, oh, he's an Enron guy. Don't listen to what he has to say.
A few of them have used Enron against me, but if you look closely, and I have a lot of memos up on my website, that I was a critic of Enron's green energy strategy. So really, the environmental left trying to attack me on Enron grounds backfires on them. So I've been able to cover myself pretty well there.
One of the things you said today was that I guess there's kind of a green mirage out there, that there's these renewables will work for us, and you say that what's important is the density that a resource has. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Right. Well, the sun's rays, wind are very dilute energies compared to the sun's work over many, many millions of years, what's been fossilized, oil, gas, and coal. So to try to turn very dilute energy into electricity, you need a whole lot of infrastructure, a whole lot of capital investment, lots of wind and solar. And even then, you're not getting much energy because the capacity factor of a solar farm might be 15%, and a wind facility might be 25-30%, versus fossil plants that can, and nuclear, that can run in the 90s, high 90s.
So on the left, I imagine what you just said is heresy, because it's almost, I've talked about this before with other energy people, that it's almost a religion.
Well, it is, and they're getting in trouble because of their religion, because there is a grassroots rebellion, environmental rebellion against wind turbines, particularly in the Pacific Northwest and also in the UK. So you have big environmentalism that wants to get rid of fossil fuels, but you have the local environmentalists who look at these wind turbines and say these are horribly intrusive for various reasons. The noise, the visual blight,
the birds they kill.
The avian mortality problem. And so the environmentalists have a bit of a civil war in their hands, and it's going to grow to the extent we try to put in more wind facilities.
So if Boone Pickens saw this, heard that last soundbite, what do you think he would say?
Oh, Boone Pickens was once really big on wind turbines, but he gave up.
Oh, he's bailed out.
And he's trying to sell over $1 billion in parts for wind farms or industrial wind parks to others. So he has completely abandoned wind. And his new thing is government incentives and mandates to require 18-wheel trucks to use natural gas rather than diesel.
Think that's a good idea?
No, because it's special government favor, and you're adding regulation rather than eliminating it, which gets to a fuel neutral standard, which the Institute for Energy Research, my organization, supports.
I would think that most Americans, sometimes you'll hear people say Americans have an addiction to oil. They're in love with oil. I think most Americans, they don't care what they put in their car as long as it runs.
Right.
And they don't care what charges their air conditioner as long as it stays cool in the summertime and warm in the wintertime.
Right.
So for those people who don't necessarily care about what makes things run, what would you say to them is the best long-term policy for American energy?
Well, I think it's very clear from history, and we also understand why it's true in theory, that free market energy is the best. It is the most reliable and most affordable energy compared to government alternatives.
But then people might come back and say, I'm not totally sure if I'm comfortable with the idea of energy companies, not having some sort of governmental oversight. Wouldn't we have a lot of pollution and spillovers and things like that?
Well, you can have a basic environmental regulation against the criteria of pollutants. I'm not challenging that, but what I am challenging is subsidies to uneconomic energies that have their own set of environmental issues.
Last subject for you, the XL pipeline. It's a big debate, and I saw this morning that apparently President Obama's punted on this until after the election.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about the XL pipeline?
Well, it's an interesting political fight that the environmental left, the cap and traders, this is their new symbol of fighting against a carbon-based energy economy. It's a thin reed. I think most Americans are going to see right through it, that the potential environmental harms are very speculative. It is an economic project. Private investors want to do it. Consumers of oil products will benefit. We're looking at probably at least 20,000 new shovel-ready jobs. So it's something that we, the people, want, and there's a small environmental elite that's politicized it. But I think at the end, the consumer will win, and the environmental extremists will lose.
On the plus side, we're always talking about how we don't want be buying oil from and even people on the left. We don't want to support these Middle Eastern dictators. Well, the XL pipeline's Canada.
Right.
So
yeah, the energy security argument is certainly an argument in favor of the XL pipeline. Now, the environmental left, they used that argument when it was convenient for them, and now they don't use it.
On the other side, though, I saw a story, I think it was on Fox News, that the way the pipeline is designed right now, it would go through part of an aquifer. Is there a way that they can go around that aquifer, or is that cost prohibitive?
I haven't looked at the engineering studies to know. Maybe an alternative route will surface.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that you want people to know about as far as America's energy future?
No, but if people want to keep up with the debate, there's a free market energy blog called masterresource.org that covers a lot of these debates. And if you need information, just Google your energy term and master resource, and you'll probably get right to some good free market analysis.
Do you edit and contribute to that blog?
I am one of the principals.
All right. Robert Bradley, thank you very much.
Okay.